These actors can do it all. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 comedic performances by serious actors.
I've been led to understand that tricks are exclusively for children.
For this list, we'll be going over some of the best times serious actors delivered comedic performances in film.
Huh. Well, then it were so simple.
Number 20. Brad Pitt, Burn After Reading.
I'm a mere good Samaritan.
He's known for his brooding intensity and cocksure grin, yet Brad Pitt channeled his inner meathead for this bizarre Coen Brothers black comedy.
Perhaps. But appearances can be deceptive.
Things take a turn for the bizarre and the hilarious in this crime flick, thanks to Pitt's portrayal of Chad Feldheimer. When the oddball trainer becomes the unassuming owner of a seemingly top-secret compact disc, his life suddenly takes on a new meaning.
I think that's the shit, man. The raw intelligence.
With the goofball dialogue and equally strange physical mannerisms, the character was a welcome departure from Pitt's typical dramatic roles, even if the narrative took a dark turn for poor Chad. Number 19. Joaquin Phoenix, Inherent Vice.
Morning, Doc.
Hey, morning, Petunia.
I love your afro.
Oh, yeah?
Known for his distinguished and occasionally villainous characters, Joaquin Phoenix also proves that he can play befuddled in this Paul Thomas Anderson film.
You figuring Mickey's kidnapping is a Black Panther operation? They put the snatch on Mickey trying to prove a political point, or maybe a nice shot at some ransom money.
As hippie and PI Doc Sportello, Phoenix travels through a confusing and drug-addled noir adventure in the 1970s. He gets caught up in several plots that leave his character and the audience puzzled as to what is actually happening. Phoenix's Doc is often the straight man, at least compared to the many bizarre characters he encounters. But his wonderful expressions and occasional standout lines help make him a very funny and relatable protagonist.
Cop friendly, everything cool with your Raja Ponica, brake lights, license plates, so forth?
Number 18. Billy Bob Thornton, Bad Santa.
So what do you do, after the holidays, I mean?
Well, nothing till March, and then I'm the Easter Bunny.
While this actor's dramatic roles can skew comedic, arguably his funniest part to date is in Bad Santa. Billy Bob plays Willie T. Soak, a thief turned mall Santa.
Should I fix you some sandwiches?
Does your daddy have a car?
Hilariously rude, crude, and profane in the extreme, Thornton plays Willie to gruff perfection, with the bad Santa being at once detestable, pathetic, and strangely sympathetic.
4 kids beat me up one time and I went crying home to my daddy, and you know what he did?
He made it all better?
No, he kicked my ass.
His friendship with a bullied young boy in particular is oddly heartwarming, when he isn't insulting him at least. Thornton couldn't have asked for a better role from the real Santa, even if Willie himself would probably just get coal.
So what do you want, little girl?
Drum set.
Oh, the old man will love that. Okay, fine. See you later.
Number 17. Kevin Kline, A Fish Called Wanda.
Hello, Mr. Burglar! Going somewhere?
At this point in his career, Kevin Kline had mostly appeared in serious dramas, but this one truly helped put his name on the map. Kline plays Otto, an arrogant, self-centered, mean-spirited criminal. However, despite, or perhaps because of, his many faults, Kline's performance makes Otto a tremendously funny and charismatic character, to the point where he practically steals the show in a film stacked with comedic heavyweights.
I thought you weren't jealous.
I'm not. I don't believe in jealousy. It's for the weak. One thing, though. Touch his dick, and he's dead.
Heck, the role won Kline a Best Supporting Actor Oscar. Remember when comedy movies and performances could win Oscars, or even be nominated? That's just stupid.
Don't ever call me stupid.
No, Otto, we mean the never mind. Number 16. Matt Dillon, There's Something About Mary. Beginning his career as a teen heartthrob and transitioning to primarily serious parts, Matt Dillon managed to kill it in this outrageous comedy.
Dom tells me you're looking for some lady friend you knew back at school.
Yeah.
That's cute. I don't buy it, but it's cute.
Dillon plays Pat Healy, a private investigator and all-around scumbag. Initially hired to find the title character by her high school sweetheart, Healy proceeds to stalk and try to ingratiate himself with her instead.
I guess I just wish they made movies like they used to make. You know, classics like The Karate Kid or
Harold and Maude.
Despite many disasters, usually caused by something he says or does, like stopping her dog's heart, Healy is surprisingly successful for the most part.
Puffer, come on, boy.
Dillon really sells the performance, to the point where we'd probably deck Healy if he were real. Number 15, Dustin Hoffman, Tootsie. Leave it to an actor's actor like Dustin Hoffman to welcome such a challenge in a comedy about conflicting personas and gender roles. 3 years after his Academy Award-winning performance in Kramer vs. Kramer, Hoffman wore this figurative and literal dress perfectly alongside comic legend Bill Murray and flexed his performance muscles in the dual roles of Michael Dorsey and Dorothy Michaels.
I think we're getting into a weird area here.
This is smart. What about this? Seriously.
Well, you look like you should be ringing a school bell.
You know, this may seem silly to you, but this is our first date. You just want to look pretty for her.
Number 14, Jason Statham, Spy. Jason Statham is famous for his roles in action thrillers and gangster movies, and while his parts often have comedic elements to them, this is one of his few completely comedic ones.
Here's what we do. I go into the face-off machine, get a whole new face. I turn up, they never notice me.
Statham plays Rick Ford, an intense and overachieving CIA agent. Ford's swaggering, over-the-top bravado is hilarious, particularly all of the strange feats he claims to have done, most of which don't seem physically possible.
I've jumped from a high-rise building, using only a raincoat as a parachute.
As much as we love to see Statham in roles that have him play this kind of character straight, it's equally great to see him in one that feels like a parody of his other work.
I'm here to take the looker out.
Ooh, it sounds romantic. I hope you get lucky.
God damn it, if I was trying to sound romantic, you'd be lying on the floor, soaking wet and breathless, wondering what came over you.
Number 13, Meryl Streep, Death Becomes Her.
I can see my ass.
With 2 Oscar wins already to her name, and 7 more nominations by 1992, Meryl Streep effectively flipped the script on typecasting with the outrageous Madeline Ashton, the queen bee of eternal torment.
Do you know what they do to soft, bald, overweight Republicans in prison?
With Goldie Hawn at her side, Streep was paired up with one of the best, as a secretive potion became the defining ingredient of their chaotic existence.
You're a fraud, Helen. You're a walking lie, and I can see right through you.
Given the outrageous premise, Streep was afforded ample room to remove herself from typical performance ideologies while still playing the role of a serious actress. And yes, she killed it.
We just have to be very, very careful with ourselves. We have to take care of each other. I'll paint your ass, you paint mine.
Number 12, George Clooney, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? George Clooney may have a reputation for being the handsome leading man in dramas and romances, but he can also be the handsome lead in comedies too.
You've been using my hair treatment.
And his turn as Ulysses Everett McGill is particularly hilarious. Everett is an escaped convict who, along with his 2 cohorts, pursues a buried treasure in 1930s Mississippi, while also trying to reconnect with his family.
We're gonna see a brave new world where they run everybody a wire and hook us all up to a grid. Yes, sir. A veritable age of reason, like the one they had in France.
Clooney's delivery of Everett's pompous, verbose dialogue is bona fide funny, and he makes the character's arrogance an unforgettable part of the movie, as much as its amazing music, which is sadly someone else's voice dubbed over his lip sync. Number 11, Jeff Daniels, Dumb and Dumber. It's a cinematic crime to be unfamiliar with Dumb and Dumber.
We successfully mated a bulldog with a Shih Tzu.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah, we called it a bullshit.
But what you may not realize is that upon being cast in the Farrelly Brothers classic, Jeff Daniels was coming off roles in the Civil War drama Gettysburg and the action blockbuster Speed. Where some folks know Daniels as a prestigious soldier or a SWAT team member, most associate him with... Alongside Jim Carrey, Daniels' turn as Harry Dunn remains one of the most wonderfully absurd comedic performances of the modern era, as he brought a goofy, childlike charm to the intelligence-challenged duo.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp! You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lloyd! You can't triple stamp a double stamp!
Number 10, Leonardo DiCaprio, The Wolf of Wall Street. Leonardo DiCaprio has an undeniable charisma and a presence in every one of his films, but perhaps his funniest role is as the unscrupulous stockbroker Jordan Belfort.
John, one thing I can promise you, even in this market, is that I never ask my clients to judge me on my winners. I asked them to judge me on my losers because I have so few.
Belfort's meteoric rise on Wall Street and his inevitable fall are chronicled in the film, but it's DiCaprio's magnetic and hilarious performance that carry The Wolf of Wall Street's considerable runtime. Whether he's making rude gestures as he screws over a client on the phone, or acting completely out of his gourd as he's whacked on Quaaludes, DiCaprio's acting will have you howling with laughter.
I can't go down through this flood. It's 3 feet of water down there. I will not die sober.
Number 9. George C. Scott, Dr. Strangelove.
The Rusky talks big, but frankly, we think he's short of know-how. I mean, you just can't expect a bunch of ignorant peons to understand a machine like some of our boys. And that's not meant as an insult, Mr. Ambassador. I mean, you take your average Rusky, we all know how much guts he's got. Hell, look at all of them Nazis killed off, and they still wouldn't quit.
A few years after winning and declining an Oscar for playing General Patton, George C. Scott served up a legitimately uproarious performance as another general in Dr. Strangelove.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Navigating the war room during a time of perceived national crisis, General Buck Turgidson conveyed a stern military demeanor while retaining a sense of psychotic paranoia, and that was the ideal combo for such a role.
I don't know exactly how to put this, sir, but are you aware of what a serious breach of security that would be? I mean, you'll see everything. You'll see the big board.
After all, supreme nationalism may lead one to have a twisted sense of reality, and Stanley Kubrick elicited a brilliant and farcical performance from Scott, who perfectly captured the feeling of a man on edge.
If, on the other hand, we were to immediately launch an all-out and coordinated attack on all their airfields and missile bases, we'd stand a damn good chance of catching them with their pants down.
Number 8. Ralph Fiennes, The Grand Budapest Hotel. When it comes to drama, there's nobody quite like Ralph Fiennes.
I'm afraid that's me, darling.
He played an SS commander in Schindler's List and made the world weep as the English Patient.
I promise. I'll never leave you.
With such a resume, he was an ideal casting choice for Wes Anderson's acclaimed film, in which he portrayed the esteemed Gustav H., a most flamboyant concierge of the Grand Budapest Hotel.
I go to bed with all my friends.
Given a palpable amount of dialogue to work with and the unique framing devices of the director, Fiennes navigated his domain with flair and charm. He was simply marvelous, darlings.
You're looking so well, darling. You really are. They've done a marvelous job. I don't know what sort of cream they've put on you down at the morgue, but I want some.
Number 7. Philip Seymour Hoffman, Along Came Polly. This late and great actor is highly respected for his award-winning dramatic roles and commitment to his craft in roles big and small. What many may not know is that the latter includes some comedic parts, such as in Punch Drunk Love.
Are you threatening me, Dick?
In Along Came Polly, Hoffman played Sandy Lyle, the best friend of protagonist Ruben Pfeffer, a has-been actor and an all-around screw-up.
Why should you want to know? Don't you mind about the future?
Obnoxious, loud, clumsy, and a complete train wreck, Hoffman brings the same intensity he usually brings to his serious work to this comedic one, and it translates to an absolutely hysterical character.
Can we stay a couple more minutes? But dude, no. This is serious. I just sharted.
Number 6. Jeff Bridges, The Big Lebowski. By 1998, filmmakers didn't exactly have Jeff Bridges on speed dial for comedic roles.
Hey, careful, man. There's a beverage here, huh?
The Coen brothers knew Bridges was the perfect fit for this dark comedy, though, casting him as the ultimate lazy Los Angelino known as the Dude.
I'm the dude, man.
As said Dude, he captured the essence of a California version of a Venetian king in his own unique way. And by that, we mean he was the prototypical slacker man.
You mind if I do it, Jay?
Social detachment, bowling, weed. Jeff Bridges brought Jeffrey Lebowski to life, even if the Dude was perpetually tired.
That makes me feel very secure. Dude. That makes me feel very warm inside. Dude.
Number 5. Colin Farrell, In Bruges. Until this dark comedy, Colin Farrell primarily appeared in dramatic or action films.
If I'd grown up on a farm and was retarded, Bruges might impress me, but I didn't, so it doesn't.
Although he would go on to appear in more traditional comedies like Horrible Bosses, this one is something special. In Bruges, Farrell plays Ray, a depressed hitman forced to hide out in the titular city, an experience which he hates.
I said you, Father. What, are you deaf? Harry Waters says hello.
Caustic and possessing very little filter, Ray's frequent arguments and confrontations with people are a riot, provided you have a grim sense of humor. As amusing as Ray is, Farrell still gets to flex his dramatic muscles too, as the origin of Ray's melancholy is absolutely heartbreaking. Comedic and tragic in equal measure, this is one of Farrell's finest performances.
That's undeniably true.
Number 4, Joe Pesci, My Cousin Vinny. Joe Pesci is known for playing profane and violent characters, and while many of them have comedic elements to them, the actor has rarely appeared in comedies. While we considered discussing his supporting role in the Home Alone movies, My Cousin Vinny largely rests on his shoulders.
Excuse me, but I think a modicum of gratitude would not be out of line here.
You think I should be grateful?
Yeah. I mean, it's your ass, not mine.
The eponymous Vinny is a street-smart New Yorker and newly minted lawyer called on to help his cousin and a friend, who are mistaken for murderers in Alabama.
This is a tough decision you give me here. Get my ass kicked to collect $200. What do you think? I could use a good ass kick, and I'll be very honest with you.
Pesci's usual fast-talking, foul-mouthed persona works well for this inexperienced and out-of-his-element lawyer. Vinny proves to be both a funny character and one we can't help but root for.
How could it take you 5 minutes to cook your grits when it takes the entire grit-eating world 20 minutes?
Number 3, Robert De Niro, Meet the Parents.
Are you a pothead, Farker?
No.
Renowned the world over for his roles as tough guys in dramas, Robert De Niro has had several comedic forays we could discuss, like Analyze This and Stardust.
See, and I'm thinking legendary British wordsmith. My enemies and crew are thinking Shakespeare. Little things like that make me happy.
But arguably his most memorable comedic performance is in Meet the Parents as Jack Burns. The overprotective father of the protagonist's love interest, Jack is a highly suspicious and occasionally oddly sensitive man, whose intimidation of his prospective son-in-law is almost as funny for the audience as it is terrifying for him.
And if I find that you are trying to corrupt my firstborn child, I will bring you down, baby. I will bring you down to Chinatown.
De Niro makes the transition to comedy so well that you'd think he'd been doing comedies for his whole career, instead of towards the latter half of it.
Greg, nobody's expecting much out of you, so if I set you up with the ball, you think you can jump up and spike it?
No. Yeah, I'd have to be pretty high, but yeah.
I bet you would, Panama Red.
Number 2, Tom Cruise, Tropic Thunder. Tom Cruise has spent his vast career primarily working in drama, but in 2008, he delivered a comedic performance unlike anything we'd seen before as a foul-mouthed, balding movie executive with a love of the music of Flo Rida.
First, take a big step back and literally f*** your own face!
In a film full of A-list comedic talent, it was Cruise who stole the thunder and closed the door on all his competition.
Player.
It was so unusual a departure for the unrecognizable Cruise that unsuspecting moviegoers were left with their jaws dropped upon learning he was the beefy Les Grossman during the end credits. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Russell Crowe, The Nice Guys. Oscar winners can do buddy comedies too.
No, you just gave her up. I asked you one simple question. You gave me all the information.
I thought that's what you wanted.
What?
Gene Hackman, The Royal Tenenbaums. Best, worst patriarch ever.
I'm very sorry for your loss. Your mother was a terribly attractive woman.
Matt Damon, The Informant. This guy's all over the place.
I'll even floss in the shower while the conditioner is in my hair, during the part when you're just supposed to leave it in. Those things can really add up to a significant time savings.
Tommy Lee Jones, The Men in Black franchise. Deadpan delivery, outrageous alien adventures.
What in the hell is going on?
Excellent question. And the answer you're looking for lies right here.
Emma Thompson, Love Actually. It's funny how much she makes us cry.
Would you stay? Knowing life would always be a little bit worse.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Leslie Nielsen, Airplane. Most know Leslie Nielsen for his parts in parody and comedy movies, but once upon a time, the actor was known for his dramatic roles. All that changed, however, when Nielsen was cast as Dr. Rumack in Airplane.
There's no reason to panic. Now, it is true that one of the crew members is ill. Slightly ill. But the other 2 pilots are just fine. They're at the controls flying the plane.
Nielsen's experience in dramatic cinema served him well in this parody movie, as it meant he was able to deliver incredibly silly lines from the daffy doctor with a completely straight face, making already funny lines that much more hilarious. Or to paraphrase his character, he's serious, just don't call him Shirley.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.